Oh, Canada. Do they put their hand over their heart? What? Welcome in to another edition of the PHNX Dbacks podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It is I, your mayor of PHNX, occasionally known as your newest Canadian baseball fan. Glad to have you guys here. Welcome in. It's also Derek Montia. I get called that sometimes around town. Glad to have you guys here for another edition of, believe it or not, this is the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast, though we are going to lament about our beloved Dbacks, aka the Mariners, falling just short of their first World Series appearance here in Game 7 of the ALCS against the Toronto Blue Jays. Glad to have you guys here. Of course, this show is brought to you by our friends over at Bet365 and at Game Time. Make sure to use that code of PHNX365 when you sign up over there at Bet365. You get yourself some bonus bets for following a few easy steps. Over at Game Time, you'll get $20 off your already low ticket prices, last-minute ticket prices, using our code of PHNX. And of course, come on in, welcome in. Somebody's already blaming me. Ernesto says I blame Montia for this. Yes, it's 100% my fault. Also, it's good to know that Ernesto is actually Shane's burner account, because I know somewhere right now Shane Diefenbach hates me more than he hates probably anybody, even George Springer. But of course, we're going to talk about this, but I'm not doing it alone. I do got Damon Dog on the ones and twos, aka the newest resident of Canada. He's just already waving the flag.
Boy, does it feel good to be a Canadian, Derek.
Hey, we got to get some A's in there. But also joining us, of course, is my friend and your guy, your Thunderstick, the one, the only, Jesse Friedman from Snakes Territory. Jesse, I know that you're not necessarily a Seattle Mariners fan. However, you did spend time in that region of the country, quite a bit of time, and I think you probably have a pretty good read on how devastating this 4-3 loss is for the Mariners fan base, coming so close to their first World Series appearance here with arguably their, second best team in franchise history.
It's a rough day to be a Mariners fan, Derek. Everybody hug the Mariners fan, our fan.
Yeah, find a Mariners fan to hug.
I know Shane Diefenbach, certainly he could use the love on a night like this. But yeah, I mean it's really tough. The Mariners franchise, I mean the of course playoff drought that is so well documented. They finally overcame that here recently in the past few years, and then it really felt like this was going to be the year where they would get over the hump and actually make their first World Series. Unfortunately, George Springer had other plans, Derek.
He really did, as he has all postseason long. And I mean, this is a Toronto Blue Jays team that obviously has a very potent offense, and there's never been a doubt about that. Mariners have done a good job at times of holding them in check, but we've seen that offense kind of, breaking out here. We saw it very much break out there in Game 6. And now here we sit at this point where, the Mariners were able to take an early lead. Things looked pretty good for them. George Kirby had himself a pretty rocky first inning there, Jesse. But, Julio Rodriguez scored on a Josh Naylor RBI single in the first inning to make it 1-0, giving the M's an early lead. Then Josh Naylor, that absolute maniac that he is, tried to prevent a double play from taking place, and he jumped up and literally stuck his neck out for this team. This is the kind of effort we wanted from you, Bryce Terang. This man literally stuck his neck out for this team. Sure, it was an illegal play, and he was out because of how obvious it was that he was interfering with the play, but it was immediately former Arizona Diamondbacks players, Jesse, that got things rolling in this very pivotal Game 7, right? You got Josh Naylor getting the first RBI single there for the Mariners, and then you had Dalton Varsho on the other side of the bottom half of the first inning getting the first RBI single there for the Blue Jays to tie this game up at 1. And again, George Kirby, from that point on, he was more sharp cheddar than angry cheddar. Definitely locked in and was able to keep this Blue Jays team fairly quiet. But you knew he wasn't going to go very long. You knew they were going to pull out all the stops in order to try to keep this game close. And they went to Brian Wu, which seemed to be a good move. George Kirby gives him 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. I don't know, Jesse. I know it's the winner take all game, and you just do everything and anything it takes. But do you leave a guy in there that's shoving like that, despite the fact that was shelled the last time he was out, and isn't on full rest at this point?
Are you talking about Kirby?
I'm talking
or
about George
Wu?
Kirby.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think given the fact that George Kirby is not pitched particularly well in this postseason overall, I wasn't too surprised to see a quick hook there. Obviously, it was
Sure.
8 runs for him over 4 innings in his last outing, so that wasn't hugely surprising to me. What was kind of surprising, Derek, was in the 7th inning when the Blue Jays had runners at second and third and 1 out. They got a couple of base runners against Brian Wu. Andres Jimenez laid down a bunt to move the runners up to second and third. George Springer comes up in what felt like pretty clearly the most pivotal moment of the game up to that point. And it was really interesting to see Dan Wilson go to Edward Bizzardo in that spot as opposed to Andres Munoz. I know there have been already a lot of people on social media criticizing that move, and I have not tweeted anything, but I would count myself among the people who did not understand that when it happened. I know it would have been a lot to ask of Munoz to get 8 outs to finish the game. Certainly that would have been a really heavy load for him to carry.
Yeah.
But at that point, you felt
Brash
like
was also available too.
Yeah, you felt with Matt Brash also available theoretically. I mean, those 2 outs to get out of the 7th were with the top of the order due up for Toronto. I mean,
Right.
those felt like the 2 most important outs in the game. And I know Bizzardo's pitched well for the Mariners in the playoffs. He had a good season, but he also was making his 4th appearance in the series. He'd already pitched 5 innings in this series against Toronto. And it felt like kind of a recipe for disaster, just going back to him over and over and over again.
I knew when both managers were essentially quoted as saying that everybody is available, I was like, should they be? I don't know. I understand the concept of the regular season being a marathon and not a sprint. And I understand here, especially in Game 7, there literally might not be a tomorrow. So you're not really worried about usage or whatever. If guys say they're available and say they're feeling good, then they're available and they're feeling good, right? Like that's all you can really go based on. But I do feel like with all the analytics and everything we go through, it was specifically the Bizzardo usage in this ALCS. I was surprised. I didn't like it. I said out loud to nobody I didn't like it, and then it goes sideways, and I just kind of hug my head in shame. It does, unfortunately, make me feel like situations with the Diamondbacks where Torey would go to certain guys that you're like, of all the guys, you're going to John Curtis right now, right? And that's no disrespect to John Curtis. It's just to be said, like at times it didn't really feel like Torey was managing certain games to go, this needs to be one right here. Like he was just managing it in a way where, well, John is available, so that's who I'm going to put in, right? And like this felt different. It didn't feel like the right move in the moment. And again, I definitely understand wanting to go to one of your best relievers like this, but I also felt like if that was the case for that moment, Andres Munoz was available, and that feels like a guy that you could have gone to instead in that big moment.
I think the other question you could ask is, should the Mariners have even pitched to George Springer at all?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got second and third, 1 out. I know that Nathan Lukes has had a pretty had a pretty good year and has hit decently well in the postseason. But I mean, George Springer was one of the best players in all of baseball in 2025. So I think there's a case to be made there too. Obviously, hindsight is 2020, but out of those three options of pitch to Springer with Bizardo and whoever it is, maybe put Springer on and face Lukes, or put in Andres Munoz to face George Springer and go right after him. I think the choice that the Mariners made probably made the least sense in my mind.
It just you just felt things shift, and I mean, again, it started there with Brian Wu, but you kind of felt like you liked Brian Wu. You like going from George Kirby to Wu there. Wu has missed time, so he's fresh. Obviously, not coming out of the bullpen isn't the ideal situation for any starter, but if you're talking about pulling out all the stops and making everybody available, I didn't hate Wu being in there, and he seemed fairly effective. It felt like the Mariners had kind of a nicely locked in deal. But the Blue Jays, meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, they very much, they had Shane Bieber go out there and not be very effective in this game, and their bullpen locked it down. One hit allowed by their bullpen, Jesse, and that's in a lot of innings pitched here. We got 5 1/3 innings pitched, one hit allowed. That's a lights out performance after your starter looked like he wasn't going to be able to make it very far. Bieber gives up 7 hits and 2 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings pitched. So, again, you didn't love the leaving him in there too much longer than that. And luckily for the Blue Jays, their pen was outstanding today.
It really was. Yeah. I mean, it honestly kind of reminds me of the Diamondbacks bullpen a little bit from 2023, where on paper, I don't think the Blue Jays bullpen is all that great necessarily, but here in the playoffs, the pieces have just kind of fallen in place for them. And that's really all you need to happen. I mean, Jeff Hoffman did not have a good season, but he has been lights out in the postseason. I mean, that 9th inning was just utter dominance from him. Granted, the Mariners, the bat quality there was not fantastic. I think Hoffman threw 2 pitches in the strike zone out of his 17. But that's a credit to just how nasty the high fastball and that down and away slider that he just seems to command so well. There's a reason he was one of the more highly sought after relievers in all of baseball this offseason. So, between him and Louis Varland, who I know gave up a run in this game, but by and large has been a really big part of this postseason run for the Blue Jays. And then, today you had Chris Bassett going out there and Kevin Gausman giving you an inning as well. Sir Anthony Dominguez contributing as well. I mean, on paper, it's not really anything special, but it was good enough to beat a very good Mariners team in this ALCS.
Right. And I mean, I'll tell you, Jesse, this is a very good Mariners team, and this has to be crushing. We know lots of Mariners fans. Shout out to my guys, George and Sammy. Shout out to Shane, who will probably never speak to me ever again. I tried very much to get Shane to just believe in his baseball team the other day, Jesse, and since then they went 1-3 and have lost the ALCS and are now out of the playoffs. So I was in the wrong to be positive. I was in the wrong to encourage him to believe in his team. And I think that maybe talking about the Etsy witch as much as we did might have reversed the curse or reversed her spell or done something. We put far too much attention out there about her, and it would appear the Mariners' magic has indeed run out. It's heartbreaking because in this game they had their guys do it, right? They get a home run from Julio after scoring that first run in the first inning. That puts Seattle up 2-1, and then Cal Raleigh hits that solo home run off of Varland to extend Seattle's lead to 3-1, and that held for quite a while until that bottom of the 7th inning when George Springer, despite hobbling around and, the stuff legends are made of, Jesse, a guy like George Springer who is in fairly elite company as far as his career postseason home runs, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm discrediting the man every time I bring it up, but just you see George Springer up there with the names in postseason history that have hit the most home runs, and it's just not the kind of guy you expect to be in that company, right? He's amongst a very elite group of hitters, and again, Springer has had a lot of at-bats in his career in the postseason, so he's had plenty of opportunities to hit those home runs, but I mean, 23 home runs now in the postseason in his career, and that's fairly elite. Again, coming in, hobbling in on bad knees, and doing it in a very Kirk Gibson 1988 1988 NLCS style here. But or no, that was the World Series. But Jesse, I'll tell you, this is something that hurts for Mariners fans. I'm sure seeing this team be up and then lose on that one single home run to lose here by a score of 4-3 is heartbreaking. Being one game away from your first appearance in the World Series is heartbreaking. I can only imagine how devastated Mariners fans truly are tonight, having come this close, having been up 2-0, winning those first two games in Toronto in this league championship series, only to lose it here in Toronto in the end.
I mean, for Mariners fans, I think it's going to feel like just another day of being a Mariners fan, which is sad to say. But I mean, I get the sense that that's kind of where their heads are going to be at after a game like this. But give it a few weeks, and I think Mariners fans will be able to reflect and see just how amazing of a run this was. A lot of fun memories along the way. And I mean, just making the playoffs is not something that the Mariners fans have gotten to experience all that often. So this was a big step in the right direction for the franchise. And I think moving forward, I mean, obviously there are some pieces with Seattle that, we'll see what happens with Josh Naylor and with Eugenio Suarez, and Jorge Polanco, I believe, is going to be a free agent as well. But I mean, they still have Cal Raleigh for a long time. They have Julio for a long time. Their pitching staff is really excellent, and all those pieces are in place for a long time. So this is a team that I think has a chance to be a contender year in and year out. And hopefully for them, this is just a launching pad of getting back to the championship series and maybe even beyond in the coming years.
Josh Naylor, he's a Seattle Mariner for life. I think he might die wearing a Seattle Mariners uniform after the love that man received. And honestly, tonight he was incredible, Jesse, including turning that double play and put it literally, like I said earlier, putting his neck on the line for this team in an attempt to help them win. But overall, you got to tip your cap to the Blue Jays. They clinched the AL pennant and they advanced to the World Series for the first time since 1993. When I was a small child, some of my first baseball memories are of the Toronto Blue Jays being the most dominant team in baseball. So that's what's funny to me is that, like, some of my first moments of paying attention to baseball was this team winning back-to-back titles in 92 and 93. And quite frankly, it was like I also remember thinking that any time a baseball team won, they were going to win like 3 championships. That's just what it felt like when I was a kid. It felt like every team that did it won a whole bunch, including the Yankees. It felt like the Braves won 20, even though they didn't. And it just says how different baseball is now, because here we have the Dodgers in the World Series, and they are like the first legitimate, contender. I guess you could say the Astros, right? The Astros were a strong team there to win multiple World Series, but it just doesn't happen anymore. Baseball's become so, it has become so close. The parity is there, except when you talk about the Dodgers. But this Blue Jays team, this is a tough team. This is going to be a tough matchup here for the Dodgers. We're going to talk about that on the other side of this break. But as much as Damon hates it, we are going to give out a king snake. And here's the thing, Jesse, we're ready to switch our fandom. As much as it hurts, we are a hired gun. We are, hitmen essentially around here. We have to move from one thing to the next, right? So it's like, we supported the Mariners. We stuck with them strong throughout this entire playoff run. We gave them our whole hearts. We called them the Dbacks, but now we are ready, Jesse, to give our full support to the Toronto Blue Jays. And in an effort to begin that, we are giving our king snake tonight to the man that won it for the Blue Jays, George Springer, 23 career postseason home runs. He is our King Blue Jay. I don't know. We're gonna have to figure something out.
Sea Snakes was just such a natural fit.
It was so
We're gonna have to
And then we
workshop
also
that.
the Dbacks. Like, oh, Jesse, this hurts so much. It hurts more than anything's ever hurt in my whole entire life. And I can't believe how much. Like, that's the one thing that sucks about giving your full fandom like we did to a team like this. The Jorge Polancos, the Millers, the Bryce Millers. Jesse, I'm so attached to this team now. I'm not ready to go back to hating them as another opponent next season. I might root for the Seattle Mariners for the rest of my life now because of what we've gone through during this postseason run. It's going to be hard. Except you, Bizzardo. You get nothing. You get nothing from me. But we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we're going to talk about that matchup with the Dodgers and ponder if the Blue Jays are, in fact, our final hope, our best hope to beat the damn Dodgers in the World Series. We're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback show, believe it or not. Circle K is your stop to get something to drink. It is America's thirst stop. But of course, on October 23rd, you know the drill. It is time for another Circle K Fuel Day, where on Thursday, October 23rd, from 6 a.m. to 11:59 p.m., you will save 40 cents per gallon for Inner Circle members. Now, let me tell you, that stacks on top of other discounts. That stacks if you're an Easy Pay member, and that stacks if you get that other 10 cents off from things like coupon cards like we've been known to give out around here. So make sure to hit up Circle K on October 23rd and make sure you sign up to become an Inner Circle member for free. It's easy to download and get enrolled, and then you gotta just use your phone number to score Circle K deals, and you can get deals on drinks like 79-cent Polar Pops and 99-cent Frosters. You can buy $5, 3 Gatorades for $5. Those are the 28-ounce Gatorades, as well as if you visit once per week and either make a minimum of a $5 purchase or a 5-gallon fill-up, you will earn 10 cents off per gallon on your next fill-up, and that stacks with the Fuel Day discount. So get down on the Inner Circle right now. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions do apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And if you're an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place you can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase, with exclusive debit cards branded with your favorite teams, including the Arizona Cardinals, the Arizona State University Sun Devils, and the Northern Arizona University Lumberjacks. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that help make your life better. They helped make my life better. I almost went full Popeye there. They made me life better. They make my life better there for
Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs, by getting me started on my home ownership journey. Again, I'm not the smartest man, as many of you that watch the show know, but I'll tell you, with the help of Desert Financial Credit Union, they got me locked in to my first loan, first mortgage, and man, am I glad they did, because I did not know what I was doing, and I'm so thankful now that I'm in the home that I'm in. So of course, make sure you can look to Desert Financial to fulfill whatever financial goals you're looking to fill. When you open a free checking account online, you can get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200 today. All right. Maine is starting this off, Jesse, with a comparison that I really don't like, because he says Kendrick versus Drake, meaning LA versus Toronto. But here we sit, Jesse. And quite frankly, I feel like the Toronto Blue Jays have had a great season. They were one of the best teams in the American League this year. And I feel like they are our best hope at not seeing the Dodgers win another World Series. I wish it was a team that I could be like, yeah, this proves that a team that doesn't spend that much can still compete or whatever. The Blue Jays want to spend as much money as the Dodgers, and if they could, they would. So there's no doubt about it there. I don't think that narrative is going to be alive and well with how much money they just paid Vladimir Guerrero Jr. before the season started, but that extension is looking pretty smart considering how good that man has been in the postseason and how good this offense overall has been over this postseason run.
Well, I mean, to the question of are the Blue Jays the best hope against the Dodgers, I guess they are quite literally the only hope
I
against
mean,
the
now.
Dodgers as they are now the last team standing alongside the Dodgers, of course. But yeah, I mean, on one hand, I'll be honest, my head immediately goes to, am I just expecting the Dodgers to totally run over this team
Yeah,
like they did the Milwaukee? I mean, I thought the Brewers were a pretty decent team too.
sure.
And obviously it was pretty quick. That series did not last very long. So I think the Blue Jays do have something going for them that the Brewers didn't, though, which is that they have legitimate star power in their lineup that I think, I mean, you could make it like Christian Yelich. I know had a good season, but obviously he was not. He did not look anything like himself in the postseason. William Contreras had a bit of an up and down year for Milwaukee. I just think in Vlad Jr., in George Springer, there's star power in the middle of this Blue Jays lineup that I think you feel good about, and you feel like one of those guys could just take over a game, and especially Vlad Jr. I mean, I know he wasn't the hero tonight, but holy cow! I mean, what a postseason it has been
Yeah,
for him.
yeah.
And I mean, I think there's every reason to believe that Vlad could continue this run into the World Series.
I got to give Vlad a lot of credit because after signing that extension, I feel like I watched him play the best baseball I've ever seen. I feel like he I don't want to take this again disrespectfully, but he looked like he was in good shape, like he lost weight. He looked like he was, I started seeing more clips of him not being someone that followed the Toronto Blue Jays closely over the regular season, that stepped up and became a leader for this team, and again, I know that it's a maturity thing, but I feel like it's very similar to Geraldo Perdomo, who, after signing his extension, became the best version of himself that he's ever been at a major league level. That takes a special kind of character to get paid that mountain of money, guaranteed, whether you suck or not, and be like, I need to be the best version of myself in order to live up to this, contract that this team has given me, and I respect that because Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has always been a great baseball player, always a consistently solid, offensive threat. But I started seeing defensive highlights from him all season long. And now watching this team in the postseason, I've really seen him be an incredibly good, well-rounded baseball player that is, by far the heart and soul of that team, like Geraldo is for us, but also the best player on that team. And this postseason run is just incredible considering that all of this has happened after this team decided to invest, so strongly in him to make him a Blue Jay for the rest of his career.
It just wouldn't have felt right if Vlad went somewhere else. I mean, I just have always
Yeah.
associated him with that organization, and it would have been just bizarre to see him donning any other jersey than the Blue Jays. And I mean, this postseason has been unreal for him. A 442 average, a 1440 OPS. He struck out for the third time today, all postseason long, compared to 6 home runs.
That's
He has
nuts.
twice as many home runs as he does
Yeah.
strikeouts in the playoffs. And yeah, I mean, you think about what certain elite players could do given the opportunity to play in the World Series. And Vlad Jr. is one of those guys you get excited about. Like, all right, if this is what it's been like so far up until now, what could this look like in the Fall Classic, in the World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers? And I don't think it's just Vlad with George Springer, with how well-rounded this Blue Jays lineup is. I think there's reason to be hopeful here that despite how dominant this Dodgers rotation is, and I mean, current pitching staff for LA looks as good as it has looked in a long time, but I think there's reason to believe that the Blue Jays can at least make this thing interesting.
Ernie Clement, Jesse, has continued to be incredible for the Blue Jays. You talk about the star power that those other two guys have, but meanwhile, Ernie Clement is hitting 429, 429 with a 1063 OPS. Vlad hitting 442 with a 1.440 OPS. Just crazy numbers that these guys are putting up throughout this postseason run. In fact, I saw a graphic that showed that Clement, coming into today's game, had more hits in the LCS than the Brewers did as a team against the Dodgers. And that's wild. That's a wild stat. And again, it reminds you once again that this is going to be an incredible matchup here. I mean, you talk about a matchup, Jesse, of an unstoppable force versus an immovable object. That is the Toronto Blue Jays offense versus the Dodgers pitching staff. We know that the Dodgers are fallible at times, but over this postseason, Blake Snell and Yamamoto have been incredible. Roki Sasaki has been the answer in their bullpen. And, Ohtani, who was somehow the weak link, came out in the last game and made history, hitting 3 home runs and striking out 10 in Game 4 to advance to the World Series. Like, if nothing else expressed how dominant they've been, or they are, is that they were able to make it all the way to the World Series, essentially with Ohtani having one game where he was incredible. And outside of that was fairly was mostly harmless throughout the entire playoffs prior to that game. So then you have him have that game, and it reassures you that this team is still a sleeping giant that has underperformed offensively the entire postseason run, despite how amazing their pitching has been, and they can explode at any time as well.
I think one of the big narratives going into the series is going to be, can the Blue Jays find a way to stop all of these great Dodgers left-handed hitters?
Yes.
A lot of the weapons that the Blue Jays have to go to in their bullpen are righties, right? Of Jeff Hoffman, Luis Varland. So, and they do have some lefties in their bullpen, but those guys wouldn't say they have any really elite left-handed pitchers. And so is that going to work when suddenly you're facing a team that has Ohtani and has Friedman and has Max Muncy?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a new challenge for them. Ernesto made a good point in the chat earlier, though, which is that the Blue Jays do have home field advantage in this World Series, which, of course, you never want to understate the importance of that. Certainly, that's one of the big differences between the Mariners and the Blue Jays is that if the Mariners had won tonight, then the Mariners would not have had home field advantage in the World Series. So if you're rooting for a Dodgers loss in the World Series, which I imagine everybody watching this stream probably is, then I think you could argue, just on the basis of home field advantage going to Toronto, this is probably a good outcome on that front.
There's 2 guys in here that aren't rooting for that outcome, but everybody else is, Jesse, for sure. And I guess that's the topic we could kick around. As much as we love this Mariners team with its 5 former Arizona Diamondbacks on it, we do have Dalton Varsho, who's very, very good at baseball, and the Blue Jays that we can root for over there, as well as just the fact that you can't help but wonder, I can't help but wonder, would this Mariners team have been just steamrolled by the Dodgers? They put up a great fight here against the Blue Jays, and they've been good all season long. However, I can't help but feel like the Blue Jays do have a better fighting chance at beating the Dodgers. The Dodgers versus the Blue Jays feels a little bit more like a 1v1 battle, whereas I think it would have been a bit of a David versus Goliath if the Mariners were in there. And that's no discredit to the Mariners with, Julio and Cal Raleigh, all the special things he did this season. But, again, and their pitching staff is very good. So I don't want to discredit that either. Their pitching staff might have been able to handle the Dodgers as well. It just feels like the Blue Jays still overall might, especially with some of these performances they had randomly against the Mariners. I feel like they might have been the team that had the better chance to win it here in the World Series.
I think probably. I think if the Mariners had won tonight, I still could talk myself into the Mariners totally hanging with the Dodgers. I think they have the starting pitching. I think they have enough bullpen weapons, and they have that star power in the lineup. As I was talking about earlier with Toronto, they have Julio Rodriguez, and they have Cal Raleigh, and they have Josh Naylor, who has had an awesome postseason, or I guess I should say had an awesome postseason for the Mariners. He hit 340, Derek. This is a guy who hit third for a team that was on the doorstep of the AL pennant. He hit 340 with a 966 OPS. in throughout the postseason run. So some fun memories, if nothing else, from Josh Naylor.
All right, well, we got to address Tim's comment here in the chat. Tim says this is absolutely pathetic. Why would Arizona want to root for a team even in this, not even in this country, just despite the Dodgers? Rooting for the Toronto Blue Jays is the most American thing you can do at this point. That is the most American thing you could do. I don't know. I'm sorry.
We're
Tim.
saving baseball, which it equals protecting America's pastime.
Correct.
Which equals rooting for America.
Yeah. Correct. That's pretty much
the Dodgers have ruined baseball. We are saving baseball.
Well, we're trying to save baseball. We're trying to protect baseball at all costs, even if that does mean rooting for the fine folks from Toronto. Quite frankly, again,
good people,
great people. Remember the Dalton Varsho trade, Jesse? Oh, they were so kind. They had so many nice things to say about Gabriel Moreno and Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
Dodgers fans weren't rooting for the Rangers 2 years ago? Tim, what world were you living in? Because it wasn't reality. The Diamondbacks
weren't rooting for the Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks swept the Dodgers in the playoffs, and their fans were rooting for a division rival who swept them and eliminated them. Yeah, I bet, dude.
Yeah.
I bet.
Katie May said it for all of us. She says this is now a Blue Jays podcast. So if that helps you, Tim, come to terms with what we're saying and what we're doing over here, I hope you can. I hope that helps. I hope it helps. But Jesse, I know we're gonna have a big post game show next Tuesday. Hopefully we're not celebrating, or hopefully we're not talking about a Dodgers sweep at that point. But we're gonna have a watch along on Tuesday, along with Jesse joining us for a World Series post-game show. So, sir, we thank you so much for your time. I know we have a lot more lamenting about the Seattle Mariners to do, but we're going to get you out of here. But, of course, make sure to follow Jesse on Twitter at Jesse N. Friedman. Also follow Snake's Territory and check out that podcast he does with our friend Jack anywhere you get your podcast. Jesse, thank you again so much for your time, sir.
Yeah, our good friend Charles Woodall Pike was talking earlier about how maybe we need to use our Cardinals fandom experience to get some quality bird references in here, given that everybody around here is now cheering for a bird team. So
I mean,
so
I don't
maybe there's
hate
like a blue sea rise up thing that needs to happen.
Okay.
I don't know.
Bird Gang? We can
Blue
Bird
Sea,
Gang. Bird Gang for life, right? I know that's not even our thing, but Bird Gang for life. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but yeah.
I'll come up with something and report back next.
We appreciate
Tuesday,
it. We appreciate it. We got to root hard for this Blue Jays team. It's, like I said, the most American thing you can do at this point. But Jesse, thank you again for your time. We appreciate all your work, and tell Jack I miss him dearly.
All right, cool. See you guys.
All right, see you, man. Well, it's still Monday, and I know we had a lot of LCS chatter. I know we are very sad still about the Mariners not making it to the World Series, but hopefully we can cheer you up with some questions from the mailbag on the other side of this break. Don't you guys go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Blue Jays podcast. Well, of course, make sure to stop by Pure Edibles. It is the place to grab yourself some delicious edibles at over 130 dispensaries statewide. And it's just kind of great that there are that many dispensaries statewide, isn't there? 130 dispensaries statewide. And of course, Pure is a wonderful candy company that doesn't just make gummies like most of their competitors. You can get a wide variety of candies, including hard candies, chews, kicks, which are their version of Starburst, and so much more, including a wide variety of strains and flavors. Those effects are clearly listed on each tin, so you know exactly what you're getting into. Right now, you can check out their new collaboration with the wonderful Mother Road Brewery from Flagstaff, Arizona, where when they get together, Pure Edibles and Mother Road combine to become Noble Road, and they have their new Tower Station IPA all-in-one, where it's happy hour all the time. This new offering features the crisp citrus and piney hops of Arizona's favorite IPA, but with a smooth THC twist in an all-in-one device. So if you're in Arizona, swing by select dispensaries and grab your Tower Station all-in-one from Noble Road. Cheers to happy hour all day, every day. And of course, go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And Rally House is the go-to spot to shop for your favorite local Arizona sports team gear. Unfortunately, we will not be able to go find some Blue Jays gear there because they only have Arizona sports teams. But right now you can shop their locations in Tempe, Mesa, and Glendale. Maybe get yourself set up for Sun season. I don't know. Hope is dead in the Valley when it comes to many of our sports teams, but the Phoenix Suns keep it alive. Not to mention ASU and U of A and all of our other wonderful teams. Check out the entire line that they have. You'll never find the same item twice. And of course, no matter what, no matter how bad our teams are doing, getting some new gear always cheers you up. I know that they got skunked in those rivalry jerseys, but I still need a Marvin Harrison rivalry jersey really bad. So it's still on my Christmas wish list, no matter how bad that team does. But of course, you can go find yourself some wonderful gear from your local Rally House location, Tempe, Mesa, and Glendale today. Again, find your local Rally House location, shop their entire product assortment online at rallyhouse.com today. Well, Damon, as you can see, I'm crushed. Seattle just is added. The Mariners are just adding to the list of teams that are making me so sad right now at this point. And of course, Mike Shade's asking, meatballs on Sunday? God, I hope so. Mrs. Lavallo's meatballs are the best. I mean,
we've never needed it more than after the Dodgers clinched the National League again.
I mean, that's kind of what you could call that slider that didn't exactly. I think it was a slider to George Springer that he hit for a home run. But
I heard Torrey's on ice cream duty.
Oh, that means he's going to go to Thrifty and get the big thing of chocolate peanut butter. Yes. Can't wait. Well, that's for Sunday, but that's Sunday. What we do on Monday, it's different because every year on this year, no matter how abysmal things are, no matter how sad we get, every year is the year of the snake. Every year is our goddamn year. Every month on this show is Black History Month. Every month on this show is also Women's History Month. And of course, every goddamn month on this show, Black Women's History Month. Every single week is Shark Week. Every single day is Earth Day. But on Mondays, we reserve special time to go to the mailbag. Damon, let's go to the mailbag.
My mailbox, always something interesting in my mailbox. I try to get to everything in my mailbox. And then once in a while, there's a letter that makes me go, wow, my mailbox.
Well, I guess we're getting called names by Tim now, and I'm sorry, Tim.
No, Derek. You're a shallow person for not rooting for the Dodgers.
Yeah, well, then
it's decided.
Then consider me the most shallow, vapid person you've ever met. 100%.
There is zero depth going on right here.
I have no interests at all.
It's the kiddie pool.
You think, I in no way don't go out and have a good time and make friends with new people. People know I was telling you for weeks that I had tickets to go see Bert Kreischer, and you think that I wasn't going to go out there and make Bert Kreischer my new best friend, Damon? I will absolutely have proof of that to you. Do we have proof right now?
Of
how
not
how much
quite.
depth there is to me. Well, we'll
not
get you
quite.
that before we go. But what we're going to do is first we're going to go to the mailbag where we have lots of depth. So let's start there, Damon. What do we got for our first question?
Of course, it's Travis Moore, as always. Number one, sorry for missing last week. Real life took precedence. No worries, my guy.
That's all right. You're all right. I mean, sometimes even our leadoff hitter needs a day off.
No one's perfect, brother.
Definitely nobody.
Even Geraldo Perdomo doesn't have his best game every day. Number two, is Lawler to center field a real possibility? Weren't they trying something like that with Tommy Troy in 2025? And number three, can I claim blue cheese as a nickname? TBH, I just really like it. Underrated pizza topping.
Oh man, he had me until the very end with the underrated pizza topping.
I've had it on like a buffalo chicken pizza before.
I have too.
It is pretty good on that.
It's all right. I mean, I have learned to venture outside of my comfort zone when it comes to pizza topping. So first of all, blue cheese, that is your nickname from now on, even though we might not be doing cheese nicknames anymore now that the Mariners thing is done. Sean disagrees. He thinks blue cheese is disgusting. Don't talk about Travis like that. He is not disgusting. But as a pizza topping, I will say that I've become a big white pizza guy and other pizzas. Like I've ventured out. Still no pineapple on my pizza, so don't put it there, or I will hate you forever. And I'm sure at some point, if my friend Jared hears this, he's going to send a picture on social media of me drunk and eating a pizza. But there's a lot of pictures of me drunk out there on the internet, obviously, Jared. So you're not the first one sending that out. In regards to what he said about Jordan Lawler in center field, no, don't love it. Don't love it at all. I will say that, yes, you are right. They were trying Jordan Lawler. They were trying certain members of this team out everywhere. And I think the reason why is because the team looked stacked in a way where these guys, especially Jordan Lawler's and other players on this team, they're becoming, I guess they're in danger of being ready for the major leagues, but having nowhere to play, right? So at some point, they have to try to see if these guys can work out in other places. For Blaze Alexander, I think he has shown that not only was he a capable defender, but he might have been an upgrade over Lourdes Gurriel Jr. in left field. Hell, I'd say he was. I would say that he was an upgrade at third base over Gino. So I think that these guys can play other positions. I just don't love Jordan Lawler being out there. I don't think that his skill set and what I've seen out of him puts him in his best, I guess, is his best position to be helpful to this team or contribute to this team. I still think that's an infield position and not necessarily a third, but third seems to be the position that makes the most sense for him right now. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't know if the Diamondbacks are just going to go to him at third base. I still think that that's the most likely scenario, just like I think the most likely scenario is Blaze plays in left field. These guys can move around. They can give other guys days off. When Perdomo has days off, both Blaze and Jordan can play the infield, but I do not think that Lawler is going to be the answer for this team at outfield. Tommy Troy, meanwhile, I mean, he is a guy that definitely could be the answer. I still think that Ryan Waldschmidt will probably be up faster than most of us expect if he is not included in some sort of trade this offseason in order for this team to improve the main roster, which would be fairly devastating considering he's their number one prospect. But that is something that, quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised considering the dire straits the Diamondbacks are in and how much they need to improve their roster immediately with very limited resources. The limited resources they have, besides the small amount of money they have to spend, is their prospects. And unfortunately, they might make that sacrifice. But that has nothing to do with your original question, by the way. I still think that Jordan Lawler, though, is a bad option there out in the outfield. And I don't love the idea of them converting him to that.
I think we've seen more from Blaze, to your point. We've seen more from Blaze out there. If you're going to move someone to the outfield, you move Blaze to the outfield.
I feel like
he's already robbed a home run.
He already is, out. Right? Like, don't you already put Blaze out there just mentally? I mean, it's not to say that
that's what I would do, but I don't know what the organization is thinking. I feel like that they're, this offseason, there's so many needs that it's really just a wide open world. It's Mike Hazen's world. We're all living in it. I have no clue what Mike Hazen's going to decide to do because this team needs at least one corner outfielder, maybe a center fielder, definitely a third baseman, probably not a first baseman, I guess, if you're going to just pretend everything's okay over there at first base. But, I mean, and then not to mention the entire pitching staff, like, I feel like you have to cut some corners. One of those corners I might cut is Blaze out in left field.
See, my problem here overall, if we just want to sidetrack and get into it a little bit, is that we constantly talk about starting pitching or relief pitching being priority one. Damon and I have deemed that the pitching is obviously the first thing you need to address. Whether you want to put starting pitching 1A or 1B, it doesn't matter. Both feel equally in need of improvement. However, you could at least say about the relievers that the Diamondbacks have enough arms to not need one, whereas the starting pitching staff right now as it's constructed, if Zach Gallant turns down the qualifying offer, we'll have 2 open roster spots in the starting rotation that you immediately have to address, right?
Yeah.
But with that being said, it still feels like you do know that at the halfway point of the season, you have reinforcements coming, both for your bullpen and a pretty amazing starting pitcher that could end up immediately slotting in as your ace right after the All-Star break, right? What reinforcements do you have for your starting lineup? Like, this is a good lineup. Marte, Corbin, Geraldo. But, like, outside of that, with the losses that they've experienced and no additions at first base or anywhere else, Gabby. And
Gabby's staying healthier, which he has not done one time so far in his career.
Like, I don't love this starting lineup offensively going forward if they don't make some improvement to it as well. So,
they need at least, like, one power hitter addition, right? Like, you can't just lose Gino and Naylor and just expect, zero home run production added to this roster. I think that's why Bellinger made a little bit of sense to us in the outfield, because he could be kind of that power bat hypothetically. Goldschmidt, even like as a DH, guys like that.
I still love Goldschmidt. By the way, John Gambadoro also is on board now, thinking that the Diamondbacks may kick the tires on a reunion.
I love it.
Goldie.
I love it.
I love it.
It seems like a cheap option, doesn't it?
It does. And it's not just a cheap option. It's a guy is going to continue to play hard at his age. And honestly, I think Goldie is the kind of guy that, like, he's not going to be an outspoken mentor in the way that James McCann seemed to be for the entire team, where Torrey talked about McCann having great baseball conversations in the dugout and really getting into helping Gabby Moreno flourish as a pitcher. But I think he would still be a mentor to guys like Tyler Locklear, to even a Pavin Smith over there at first base, just guys that also play first. I think there's a lot that he could still give. And I think that he still has a lot of baseball left in him as well. Plus, you just can't get over how good the vibes would be bringing Paul Goldschmidt back to the Valley. Even if next year is a wash, it feels like at least, and I hate to say it, I know it's loser talk, but at least you have some reason to watch this team that makes you as a Diamondbacks fan feel pretty good. Gives you a nice little warm feeling,
Yeah, I mean, I also think
until he hits 126 and then people are screaming for him to be DFA.
Well, I don't think that would happen. I think he's too good of a hitter to hit. I mean, he hit 272 last year.
I know.
The guy,
that's what I'm saying.
The guy's a pure hitter.
He's got stuff left in the tank.
100%. I feel like, if he's the Grichuk replacement, for example, the right-handed hitting DH, they can play a little bit in the field when you need him to, right?
Yeah.
I think that's you got yourself a average right-handed hitting DH platoon option. And that's, like, average is better than what the Diamondbacks have available.
No, totally. But look at what Ernesto says. Damon, can you imagine this? Goldie, Marte, Corbin in the same lineup.
Oh,
Past,
my God.
present, future faces of the franchise type storyline. Inject it directly into my veins.
That's
Just
beautiful.
Inject it directly
that
into my
actually
veins.
is beautiful.
It
I'm
is.
not even joking.
It
like,
is.
that's like I almost want to say it's why am I blanking on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Master
Splinter.
Master Splinter.
Master Splinter.
I was almost saying Shredder, but he's the bad guy,
Yeah,
obviously.
of course. Everybody knows
Master
that.
Splinter meme with the young Ninja Turtles, except Patel and Corbin are like different ages.
I love it. Well, I'll also say, I think it was Ernesto that said it earlier. I mean, again, you don't hate the idea of, like, I don't think that Jordan Lawler can't play center field, but I think, again, there's a certain skill set that he has, and there's a reason why he's been an infielder. And I don't know if his ability to break on a ball hit to him and his speed is going to be as elite as other options the Diamondbacks have. Again, it's not to say I wouldn't be surprised to see him play in the outfield. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised to see anybody play any position next season at all. This team is going to be such a hodgepodge of patchwork pieces trying to figure things out next year that, I mean, again, it's all everything's on the table. But
Derek wouldn't be surprised to see Corbin at short.
Yeah, why not? Throw him out there. I think that, like, again, though, like, Blaze is a perfect example of, he has skills that we didn't want to see. Like, we didn't want to see Blaze at second base because we didn't feel like it was proper use of how good his arm is. That's the reason why you like seeing Blaze over at third, and that's the reason why he was so good defensively over there. But same thing with the outfield, right? Blaze can really let his arm be a big defensive help for this team, who honestly has been criticized in the past by guys on this show for their noodle arms out in the outfield. You have Corbin, who has increased his arm strength considerably in 2025. And if you put Blaze out there, you start to feel pretty good about your increased defense, right? So again, I mean, I don't hate Jordan Lawler being out there, but I don't think we'll see very much of it. That's at least my take. We'll see if that ends up being true or not. But we got another question, Damon. What else we got?
Yeah, we got more questions, Derek, of course. AZ Dbacks fan. I've seen stuff about Joe Ryan or Freddie Peralta possibly being on the trade market. What do you think the trade package would have to be for the D-backs to get either of them?
And this was what I was kind of alluding to earlier. The trade package to get guys like that who are considered elite starting pitchers with any years of control left is going to take a lot. And when I mean a lot, I don't mean that you're going to be able to get rid of Jake McCarthy and, Andrew Hoffman and get that in return. Most likely it's going to take a top prospect in the organization, a top 10 prospect, and there's a good chance that it could be a top 3 prospect as part of a package, right? So I don't love that. I think that the Diamondbacks, once again, their only way to succeed is to be patient. And that does require us as a fan base being patient. I do think that if they do make a trade that involves them making a big move like that, it needs to be for starting pitching. That's the exact move they need to make if it's going to end up coming at a big sacrifice. There is no position player at all that is worth giving up as much as some of those high prospects in order to get back a power bat or anything like that. It's the reason why I don't believe Ketel Marte will be traded, because I do not believe the return for Ketel Marte would even be close to significant enough for the Diamondbacks to consider it. And again, I don't know if a team's willing to give up everything that the Diamondbacks would want in return for Ketel Marte. That would probably be like the scenario, like a Freddie Peralta for Ketel Marte might be, that would be kind of in the neighborhood. And I still don't think that that's enough to trade away Ketel Marte on the contract that he's on and the caliber player that he is, right? So that's where it gets very difficult. That's where, of course, the Diamondbacks assessment of Ketel Marte and his talent is going to be different than another team's. That's where that entire, scenario of people being upset with Ketel plays in. How upset is the organization with Ketel, and how much is that going to impact them wanting to trade him, right? But again, a trade for a fairly elite starting pitcher that has years of control left is going to be way too much probably for this team. And let's see, Sean says if we actually shop Ketel, we aren't serious.
True.
I agree with that. Sorry, I got to get Jesse Jr.'s head straight here, but I agree with that. But I also think that, again, your job as a general manager is to take calls on everybody. I will say that the Diamondbacks have been fairly good about not revealing what they're doing and not what moves they're working on. And Mike Hazen one time said that it comes at no benefit to tell the media or the public that they were all in on this guy that they were trying to get as a free agent and didn't end up getting him, right? And he's right. Like, how doesn't make the organization look good. It just makes you look like you failed at something. And if you could keep that information private, then so be it. So I was kind of surprised to see Mike Hazen even confirm the idea that they were taking phone calls on Ketel, but then he also brought up that they were taking phone calls on everybody because that's what he does
Corbin.
as a Jew. He brought up Corbin. He brought up Geraldo Perdomo.
Yeah, and I obviously I'm Mr. Perdomo, but Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
But it's because he's being honest there in that moment that it's not to say he doesn't get calls on it. It's just he gets a call on Corbin. He doesn't tell the guy to go F himself and hang up the phone. He's diplomatic about it and hears him out and tells him like, yeah, no, I don't think that's going to even come anywhere close to getting the job done. But as a fellow GM on the other side, you wouldn't be doing your due diligence if you didn't happen to be like, hey, what about Vladdy? You want to trade Vladdy? Like, why wouldn't you do that?
There's also an element of like, come on, dude, what are we doing? Like, are you seriously calling me about Corbin Carroll right now? You think, like, if you're going to call me about Corbin Carroll, you better have an insane offer on the other end.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe that's as far as the conversations go right there, right? You better have an insane offer. Yeah, you're right. All right. Well, if we think of something, we'll give you a call back. And then that's the last you ever hear from them, right?
Yeah. I mean, but I think as far as Freddie Peralta goes, the Brewers are an organization that, I think that they value prospects, Derek. Like, I don't think that they would want back a Ketel Marte.
They would absolutely want prospects.
And right. I'm not sure the Diamondbacks have close to a good enough prospect package that they can conjure up that's competitive for the rest of the league, because the farm system's not in the best place right now. So, I think that they saw an influx, and there's maybe a little bit of hope there. But yeah, in general, I think that it's going to have to be cheaper guys than Freddie Peralta.
You're right. You're right about that. And honestly, the Diamondbacks don't need Freddie Peralta. Like, they just
I
need
mean, it would be pretty
Oh,
sweet.
yeah, it would be sick. It would be sick. I'm not going to act like it wouldn't be, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
Please?
They definitely have the ability to add 2 mid-rotation guys and have it be, have it be okay.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get Corbin Burns back at one point in the season. But
Yeah.
I will give Mike Hazen some credit because this team's farm system was ranked 25th at the beginning of the year. And the final farm system ranking, after all of those moves he made at the trade deadline, Diamondbacks climbed up to 13th in Major League Baseball. So they're in the top half. And again, that's a vast improvement. You're not wrong about them not having a lot of prospects to make a big trade. And if they did make that level of trade for a Freddie Peralta, it would probably be catastrophic.
It would
to their
gut
farm.
the farm system.
Yeah, they would plummet right back to the low 20,
Yeah.
high 20s again. So there's that. But I do want to thank you guys, those of you, Deborah, Groundhog Mama. So many of you guys have already joined our supporters club, by the way. We are kicking ass. I can say that. I'm allowed to say ass on this program. We are kicking ass across ALLCITY. We have the most supporters. Thank you guys so much.
Do we really?
We do. We have the most supporters in all
sick.
ALLCITY. Yeah.
That's sick. You know what? We are not the biggest audience in
No, we are
ALLCITY,
not.
but we appreciate the people that show up here and are locked in because
You guys
no
are the
one
best.
cares as much as the
Yeah.
PHNX sports audience at the end of the day, and we love you guys.
And you have no idea how much it means to us. It's not just a supporters club. You guys truly support us. You guys help us keep the lights on around here, and you're a big reason why things are rolling for us right now. So we thank you so much. If you are not a supporter yet and you want to sign up, of course, it's just $5 a month. You'll get a badge next to your name. It's a literal badge of honor. You also get all of those custom emojis. I know some of ours went away. Don't worry, they'll be back. We'll also get some new stuff. We got to get a ski in the chat, though. We got to definitely get a ski in the chat. You can also join the Hall of Fame tier for $15 a month to unlock bonus content, including some of our members-only videos, behind-the-scene vlogs, experimental content, and so much more. It's a fun way to support PHNX, and we can't thank you enough. Of course, if you send super chats during the show, it's an equally great way to support us, and we appreciate all of you guys that have already done so. So thank you so much. I think we have a super chat, Damon, that I missed.
Yeah, we do.
What do we got there? From
Brandon Chips.
He said, thank you guys for your continued coverage. Looking forward to off-season news drama. Good to see you too, Jesse. Oh, we should have read that when Jesse was still here. I'll make sure he gets the message, Brandon, but we thank you so much for your super chat. Appreciate you, my guy.
Definitely.
Also, we got some more questions in the mailbag, Damon. So what else we got?
We do, and I know we miss it by a little bit, Derek, but why don't we do it in extra innings?
Extra innings. Beep, 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 beep. Sorry, Jacob. I'm bad about that.
Me and Kevin are bad about it too. It's
Yeah.
mostly just all of my podcasts that screw everything
I think
up.
we figured out the culprit, like the
100%.
true
100%.
patient.
It's
Zero.
not even a question.
All right,
Next question comes from Russell, who asks, who is the biggest free agent the Diamondbacks could realistically sign, Derek? And I did a little bit of research. I got some answers as well.
You got some answers. What do you got for us? I know we already discussed Cody Bellinger. I don't even know if it's reasonable to say the Diamondbacks could afford him, right? Like I did kind of joke that he would have to play 2 positions at the same time in a baseball game, which seems something that's very difficult to do. But I mean, let's be honest, he actually kind of would for what he costs. So I don't know if you would expect to say that he is a reasonable, free agent to go after, especially if you're talking about the biggest free agent to go after. I feel like if you're talking about the biggest free agent to go after, it would have to be a starting pitcher, Damon. Am I wrong?
No, you are not wrong, Derek. And the argument could probably be made that it's Zach Gallen and it's keeping Zach Gallen. You know what I mean? And I know that doesn't feel like a big change or like things are going to get so much better next season when your big move is we're going to keep the guy who was terrible for half the season.
Yeah.
But I think that there is something to be said that maybe he's even up there when it comes to the options. Other than that, I think, Framber Valdez makes a little bit of sense.
He does.
A lefty option. He's 32 years old, Derek. He just came off making $18 million this year. I know it feels a little E-Roddy with the lefty, but
Very E-Roddy.
Yeah, and this this franchise is cursed lefties forever.
I don't know, man. Framber Valdez, though, he's a proven stud.
He is
He's a proven stud.
Jordan Montgomery was a proven stud lefty. Like Madison Bumgarner was a proven stud
stop
lefty.
it.
We are cursed with lefties, but that is an option. I think Chris Sale maybe on a 1-2 year deal.
What
like
about Ranger
that would be
Suarez?
pretty sweet. Ranger Suarez would be
You know,
I think that'd be a really good signing. I agree.
I love Ranger. I
Sure,
really
I'm
do
all-
love the
I'm all
idea
in
of
on Ranger Suarez, yeah.
Right. First, people that bought Geno Suarez merch, right? Like the T-shirts and stuff. Maybe we could give him number 28. Solves a lot of people's issues with having to get a new jersey, right? But there's
Yeah, for
also the
sure.
fact he has a 7.5 WAR. He's 30 years old. I think that's the problem. Is if you're being honest about Ranger Suarez with how good he's been for the Phillies, really hard to imagine him at age 30 not getting his big 5+ year deal at this point, at least.
But there's like 10 pitchers probably on the market that have better, if not equal value to him. I mean, I just don't. What is the market? If the Diamondbacks can't get in on the 10th best starting pitcher free agent, then what the hell are the Diamondbacks doing? You know what I mean? Like, it feels like that should be where the money goes. Is a guy who's on the younger side for a starting pitcher, has a lot of experience, and has been really good in the past. So I'm with a Ranger Suarez deal. I like it.
What about if we're being realistic and we're talking about reuniting with guys on a short-term deal that are older that we want to bring back?
Sure.
What about Patrick Corbin on a 1 year on a 1 year deal?
No thanks.
No, 3.6 WAR, almost the equivalent of Merrill Kelly. Gonna cost you nothing. He will cost you nothing, Damon.
It feels like a disaster waiting to happen.
We can give him
Derek.
give him some Sonoran dogs and some coupons to Luke's Deli, and he'll come out. Oh man, I don't know, but yeah, I think if you're talking about realistically spending that money, it has to be on starting pitching. It has to be, and
I do think that like a Bellinger, you could make an argument for that potentially. The guy fits multiple positions.
Yeah.
You need that type of player in the building.
Oh.
So I mean I understand, you know, the idea of other people. What if Bregman opts out? Would you not even want to hear out that argument potentially?
I would hear it out, but again, it feels very difficult to imagine.
Albuquerque's own.
Just imagine him. I don't know. I mean, I never imagined them signing Corbin Burns, and Katie's right. We're at our Corbin max. Unfortunately, Patrick Corbin would be 3 Corbins on the team.
Yeah, that wouldn't be acceptable.
Too many. Yeah, that's too many Corbins for sure.
But how about I like this though? How about Merrill Kelly qualifying offer Zach Gallen so you don't lose him for nothing?
Okay.
Merrill Kelly back.
Yeah.
Ranger Suarez, and those are our 2 biggest financial moves of the offseason. I love it personally. I'm all in on that.
I almost feel like it's too much.
You don't think that's realistic?
Well, no. I feel like it's too. Okay, so what happens when Corbin Burns comes back? Who goes to the bullpen? Who's no longer in the starting rotation?
Erod or Fott, depending on who stinks more.
It's going to be Ryan
Figure
Nelson,
it out.
No matter how good
They're
he's
having
pitching.
a mid-off over in the SP5 spot. Like, I hope it's Brandon Fott. You know what I mean? But it's definitely not Ryan Nelson or Corbin Burns. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. I don't hate that. I also very much do not want 41-year-old Max Scherzer back here. Sorry, RA.
Mad Max.
He and both of his eyes can stay in Toronto. That's for sure. But
oh God, Tori, don't take me out right now, Tori.
He would scream at me just for saying that. He'd scream all the F words at me. What else we got, Damon?
Our next question here. Give me 1 second because I believe it is on the last question. Is from Fleaball, and Fleaball asks, what did Arizona fans do to the sports gods to deserve this unearned torture?
I don't know.
Derek, it's pretty unbelievable.
I mean, Chase Field built on an Indian burial ground for starters.
Correct.
Right.
I proved that to our chat when I made my triumphant return back to this program a few months back.
Today, some friends and I discovered that Sparky was just copied off of a man. There's just a guy that looked like Sparky. And
wasn't it a Disney cartoon artist that made Sparky?
Yeah, but I'm just talking about there was a guy who looks like Sparky, Governor George W.P. Hunt, who was a Sun Devil, and he does look exactly like Sparky. So again, everything's a lie. Nothing is true. U of A's colors weren't red and blue to start. It was originally sage and steel or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sage and Silver.
Sage and Silver. Nothing. Everything's a lie. Nothing is true. And maybe these are all the reasons why we're damned. Maybe
ASU is the Bulldogs.
Yeah, the ASU was the Bulldogs. Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna go that length,
I'm just saying. Yeah. Like, what are we doing here? What are we even doing? I don't know why we're cursed. I don't know why the Suns lost the coin toss. I don't know why the Cardinals lost that Super Bowl. I don't know why the Suns have never won a championship. I don't know why the Coyotes left town. I don't know why the Diamondbacks couldn't get a closer to help them during the postseason there when Paul Sewald fell apart. There are lots of things I don't know, but I do feel like Groundhog Mama is stealing my line a little bit, but she's absolutely right. Signing Randy Johnson cost us everything. I think it was a Faustian deal. And I don't even think it was just signing Randy Johnson, quite frankly. I think it's the bullpen thing where they were like, it was game 7.
sure.
They were like, what are we going to do? And literally, I don't want to say, if you're not a religious person, that it was a devil. I will say it was a demon-like creature that popped up out of smoke and fire from the ground out of nowhere. But regardless, he was wearing a nice little short coat and had a pocket watch and a top hat and a mustache that looked shockingly like Sparky's. And he was like, hey, do you guys want to win this thing or not? And they were like, yeah, what do we do? And he's like, Randy Johnson coming out of the bullpen. It's going to cost you everything. What do you mean? It's going to cost you 50 years of bullpen sadness and pain. But here, just go ahead and sign on the dotted line. And that's really where we were at. But I don't know. I don't know why this town is cursed. I don't know why our sports teams hurt us so much. I have no idea why I even do this for a job, quite frankly. The sadness and misery that baseball has brought me over the years and years of covering it far outweighs that one moment of Damon jumping into my arms gleefully after we beat the Phillies to advance to the World Series.
But
it
was so beautiful.
It's still, that one moment still almost made up for all of those years of pain. So that's the way things work.
I honestly, as much as I'm considered to be Mr. Negative, Derek, that is like the thing, like nothing for me beats the highs. All the pain is worth it for those moments. True.
Yeah.
I know we're making jokes, but truly, those are like, I get emotional thinking about it. Just how special that run was.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
It was a special run. And
I want another one.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm not satisfied. I want more.
Well, the World Series is almost over, so we can start getting back to hope.
We do have one more question. Speaking of more.
Speaking of more questions, what else we got?
Yeah, it's Jarmy.
Oh, our guy J. Army Strong. What do we got, Jarmy?
If the Dbacks were to get a Netflix docu like the Red Sox had, especially in 2026 with so many front office careers on the line, would it help or hurt a miracle season?
That's a great question. I feel like it would hurt if I'm not doing this the way I normally do it to be fun and to be, if I'm just being honest. I think having a documentary film crew around you while you're doing team meetings and such sounds like the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It surprises me. It never ceases to surprise me, or never surprises me, that a team is bad, right?
If they did like a Dbacks documentary, there's like a non-zero chance like you would be like doing confessionals in it.
100%.
Like they probably would
there would be no doubt. I would weasel my way into that.
They'd look up like Dbacks podcast and they'd find the #1 Dbacks podcast and they'd be like, let's stick this guy in front of a camera and have him talk about the team. And they'd have Derek in some just like folding chair in the middle of like a big empty room. Just have him like sit down. I love it.
The bullpen. It was crazy, and that kind of thing. Oh man, yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, I do.
Tory would be a star, man.
I think Tory would be a
freaking star of a Amazon style Dbacks doc.
1,000%. He would, because the stuff we don't get to see is the most electric.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
And the haters would be so furious, dude. I almost want it to happen, just so I can see all those Torey Lovullo awesome moments behind the scenes, and people can just turn them into negative things in this chat on post-game shows. That would,
1,000%.
I mean, that's what I need in my life, truly.
Sean says Derek would make his Netflix debut like Espo did with starting 5. Fun fact, I'm already on Netflix.
True.
Season 2 of Lucha Underground. Go to the season finale of that bad boy. I'm all over the place. I was losing my mind in the crowd. They got me on
fun
camera
fact,
a lot.
sometimes Netflix, the main account, just tweets at Derek.
That's true.
For
about pro wrestling.
For no reason.
About pro wrestling.
They'll just be like, aren't you excited at Cap_caveman?
If
What?
if we're talking about the crazy adventures that I've been on, Damon, I mean, quite frankly, I still don't think anything is crazier than the fact that what we were talking about earlier, that I am one of the 328 people that Last Week Tonight inexplicably follows. That count has nearly 3 million followers, and
No big deal. Humble brag.
No big deal. No, I mean, it does me no good. There's no benefit that comes from it other than the pride that I feel that Last Week Tonight, one of my favorite shows on television, does in fact follow me. But it's also because I love John Oliver more than I love most people, at least members of my family, and a few people around this office. I love John Oliver more than just a few people. Not everyone. Damon's definitely in the group of loved. I love him more than John Oliver, but only a little bit, and only on certain days. So,
Sure.
speaking of Damon, before we get out of here, we've already gone this long? Do we have the footage I was referring to earlier
I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
how
I just need to
my
put it in a video.
Friday night went? No, I mean, don't worry about it. It's all right.
Derek, it's important stuff that people need to see you in your elements, sir.
I mean,
explain to the people where you were at.
Well, again, this was all thanks to Connor Cox, our guy over here. Connor invited me to a little after party thing that they were having that turned into not being such a little after party thing because Bert went ahead and invited the entire audience at his show at Desert Diamond Arena to come out. So if you guys were there, you might have seen it, you might have heard it. By the way, Bert Kreischer, a hilarious individual, very, very funny, very, very funny comedian. And quite frankly, my favorite part about Bert, as someone that can relate to his form of comedy, is he pretty much just tells stories of his life, which tends to be pretty insane, and that is something I can relate to. But Connor invited me to this, and there was a Disneyland size line, I guess if you want to call it, outside trying to get into the Lola in order to meet Bert Kreischer. I was going to abandon all hope and turn around and go home, but that's when Connor Cox, that true all-star stud that he is, made sure to contact me and tell me to go in and come back and find him by the bar. And yeah, that's where I ended up there meeting Bert Kreischer and eventually having him pour shots into my face. So that's how that went. But
we are T-minus a minute from this unbelievable video. It is pretty
it's taken way too long now, Damon. The hype, there's no way that the video can live up to the hype
you think?
By this point. But
I don't know about that. Derek, you are in a way, you kind of do kind of have like a Bert Kreischer shtick.
I have taken my shirt off on this show,
on this podcast, while getting really drunk.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I can see where the likeness there for you is, but you can also see here where maybe in this video you can see the likeness between me and Bert. So here's me getting drunk on a Friday night. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Poroso's
pretty
vodka.
sick.
Poroso's vodka being thrown into my mouth. Yes, and Katie's right. It is the feral energy.
Why didn't you take your shirt off for that? I was a little surprised by that move on your part.
I mean, sometimes in life things happen so fast, and you're like,
I think Bert would have really respected that energy.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong about that, but. Appreciate you guys so much for being here and living through these shenanigans with me.
CWP wants John Oliver on the show.
Well, we'll see if we can make it happen. We'll see if we can get Bert to join us on the show, and we'll see if we can get John Oliver to join us on the show. It's going to be a long off season. We're going to have a lot of time to fill, so maybe we'll get John to come co-host this with me. Since again, he did help he did help rebrand a baseball team. Maybe. John can help rebrand a baseball show. We'll see. But thank you guys again so much for joining us. You guys are the real MVPs and king snakes of this podcast. RA, you're right. I am the machine. And if you give the machine vodka, You'll have a great time. So we love you guys. We thank you guys for being here. Emily, I am so sorry about the jersey list. And for someone that has as much free time as I do now during the off season, I can no longer put that off.
No excuses.
No excuses on that one, Emily. I'm sorry for taking as long as I have. But I appreciate your continued interest in it. And I thank you for, of course, being here in the chat. Appreciate you guys so much. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. Jesse is at Jesse N. Friedman. This man is at Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. And we are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you guys so much for your time. We'll see you tomorrow for another 12 p.m. show where we're going to break down some more of the starting pitching options for the Diamondbacks through free agency, as well as talk about the World Series matchup just a little bit more. We are Team Canada, by the way, going forward.
Oh, Canada.
Sorry, Tim. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful evening. Enjoy. Get yourself a good night's sleep. Get ready for the World Series. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you have a team to root against the Dodgers for.
We all silly like the mayor.